Greetings, folks, and welcome to, I guess this would be the first official English segment of Metal Minded. Sure, the team has worked with English bands and whatnot before, but Yolang was nice enough to invite me along to the team to start expanding. So here I am doing, I guess, a monthly highlights segment for you guys. Highlighting basically whatever new music has come out over the last month, and also talking about other new releases that I came across. New, not particularly new, but things that I never quite, got the chance to discover yet. So I feel like expanding and separating fresh new releases with overlooked releases from the past kind of helps to kind of give, overlooked releases from the past, a chance to actually be talked about. Not often that you see, it's so often that people talk about just new stuff that's always coming out. And considering I'm still going to be doing that as well, I just want to kind of have the chance to kind of, highlight potential releases that may have not been, talked about on different sites. So without further ado, let's dig in to see what we have that grabbed my attention over the last month in January. We're going to start off with the highlights of the month for January, albums that came out during the month. Starting with actually is Infant Island with their album Obsidian Wreath. This one is already kind of an early contender for album of the year, to be honest. It's probably I might go on and say it's my favorite release even of the genre that I have got into even from last year, specifically over the genres of screamo, post-metal, black gaze, that kind of thing. Very emotional, atmospheric, and aggressive. And that kind of thing I've been kind of growing a bias towards lately. So you might see a bit more of that kind of thing in my selection as of late, but I'll be trying to kind of narrow down into different subgenres, so then more people into different styles will, get their chance to find something that they'll probably like from my list. But basically the whole thing with Infant Island and this album, Obsidian Wreath, has just absolutely pulled me in with just how well executed it was. And just front to back, got some good, quick, really fast emo violence, almost type of grindy tracks. And then you got some lengthier ones that just really pull you in with the atmosphere and just kind of, a little on the repetitive side of things, but the way they repeat it just really pulls you in. Absolutely phenomenal release. It's up there already. I imagine this is going to be like at least top 5 favorite release for the year. Hands down, absolutely wonderful release. Next up, we have from the band Vitriol, coming from Portland, USA. These guys dropped this new album called Suffer and Become. And this is kind of like a brutal technical death metal album. And in a way, I find that there's even a bit of like a blackened, almost war metal sort of chaotic approach on this release. And I actually am just blown away by this one. It is just absolutely pummeling. It's one of the heaviest things I've heard in quite some time, actually. Probably since, what was the last newer heavy thing? Probably Consecration of the Spiritus Flesh by Exotrilium. That one came out just a couple of years back. And that one was very, black and death metal, war metal type of stuff. But as probably the heaviest album that project had done. And this album is like right up there, like probably even surpass it. Definitely more on the punchier and like, modern production, but it really did the job. Yeah, it's absolutely just insane, just in your face. Like the riffs and the drumming are just really top notch, and It's aggressive as all heck. Is insane. Love the album. So definitely going to be another one that is going to be up high on my list for sure. I was not expecting January to actually be pretty this top notch. Moving forward, so this is a solo project from China. They're called Hoplites. They actually dropped 3 albums last year, and all of them were top notch. And this new album just dropped like early this month, and it's even better than anything else that he's done before. I can't even believe it. But yeah, this new album is called, excuse me if I can't say it properly, but Parameinumini. Basically, the terms, the terminology, I guess, everything is kind of translated in Greek. Yeah, that's how what they likes to do with the album names. But yeah, this guy has something about Greek mythology, I guess, and just in terms of just Greece, this guy really enjoys and wants to convey that in his music. And just musically, let's focus more on that now. Honestly, is just absolutely nuts. Some of the most chaotic stuff I've also heard, it not in a really just aggressive sense, but just all over the place, but you know, in a more like, it's basically, you got your prog, you got your mathcore, you got your death and your black metal, you even got some technical thrash metal in there too. Like, it is just all over the place, and there's some sax too. Like, just everything that's going on in this record, it just feels like this is something that would have, you know, taken quite some time to put together. And considering that 3 albums already came out just the past year, that's insane. I don't know how he does it, but absolutely insane release. And to close off this this section of the highlights for January, we've got artist Underneath with their album From the Gut of Gaia. Also some really pummeling stuff. This is more on the sludgy metalcore, kind of deathcore-ish side of things. Really aggressive vocals on the lower side of things. Usually pretty slow, like more like slow mid-tempo kind of stuff. But just like really aggressive. Something about this, like, it had a previous EP that they dropped that I thought was quite interesting and was quite promising. But this new album, I was not expecting to like really pull me in this time. So honestly, good job, guys, on this fantastic new album. I'm really looking forward to hearing what they got coming up in store. So if you're into like really aggressive, hardcore kind of stuff, and especially more sludgy tones going on in the music and good production as well, definitely check this one out. And now let's move on to the new discoveries, things that I've came across over the certain points of, well, basically just whenever it came out. Most of these are across the 2000s and the 2010s, whatever. So let's dig in. First one here, this one came out in 2016. Is from this artist called Gendo Ikari with their EP called Unit 1. This is some death grind, math grind kind of stuff. This EP is actually like under 10 minutes long. So normally I don't focus on like stuff that is usually that short, but just something about this EP just blew me away. I was not expecting to get so pulled in by such a just quick, and it's just a few songs that just really go so hard and just pulls you right in. It just doesn't stop from front to back. I was absolutely blown away by the quality of this release. Yeah, absolutely insane stuff for the style. That definitely, if you're looking for something that's just like a quick and just fun, exciting, and just riffy kind of release, definitely look into this one. Then we got another solo project, actually. This one is called Life. It's actually a demo. They call it Demo 2. Could say it's also considered like an EP, mini album-ish kind of thing. There's only 4 songs on it. It's a little over 30 minutes, but it is amazing. This is actually the solo artist who also is known as Sadness or Tra. Is a Mexican-American individual, and basically likes to focus on the more depressive side of things. And this project in particular focuses on, the screamo side of things, a little hint of black gaze, and honestly really does it well. Much more on the raw side of things when it comes to production, but I find that it adds to the engagement of the release, and I was just like really pulled in by it. So this one really got me good. Heaven in Her Arms. This is another artist. They're from Japan. Got into these guys also kind of, again, digging further into the genre of screamo and black gaze and whatnot. And this is their 2017 album called White Halo. White Halo is the first time I've listened to these guys, and I was just floored by it. This one focuses more on the post-rock side of things, but it's still, as you'd expect, a screamo album with some post-metal rock kind of stuff. Lots of atmospheres, but when it gets in the atmosphere, it's like slowed down and whatnot. It's just like, take a little breather from the harsher, heavy side of things, and when it climaxes back up, is wonderful. So definitely another one to recommend if you want to dig further into this side of music. All right, switching things up a little bit. Bubby, I'm talking right now. Switching things up now with Pharmacist. Actually, another Japanese artist, but this is switching up with genre, let's say. This band focuses more on the sort of gore grind side of death metal. Very interesting stuff. And actually, in terms of gore grind, I never really thought about digging into the genre all that much. But considering that they kind of play around with death metal much more than just gore grind in itself, and even their last album played more with prog metal, which is like my favorite of their releases. But today I'm going to talk about their first debut album, because that's the one that I came across, and even that I was blown away by. The album is called Medical Renditions of Grinding Decomposition. So with that title, you can definitely tell that, this sounds very gore grind oriented. This stuff is, it's pretty, it's less of a pummeling and abrasive kind of side of things. But when it comes to death metal, it's got the riffs, it's got good structuring, and honestly, if you're a fan of bands like Carcass, you'd probably imagine, they probably like Carcass quite a bit. And you can definitely hear the Carcass influences, but they've got a little freshness to their sound, I find. And I think that's really cool. So honestly, if you're into that kind of thing, Pharmacist is a big recommendation. That album especially, go check that one out. Next we have Aosoth. I think that is how you pronounce it. They're a black metal band from Paris, France. This is their 2013 album, I guess is Chapter 4, An Arrow in Heart. And this one actually I was really intrigued by. Not a whole lot of like just standard black metal that I am willing to sit and like explore in, unless it gets enough praise, which this one did. So it's not exactly an overlooked album per se, but at the same time, it is one that is pretty much a cult classic, I guess. But doesn't seem like that many people are super aware of it, so it blew my mind. I discovered it this month, and if it's new to you, definitely check it out. It's got some lengthier songs. It's a little on the proggy side. I'm also a prog nerd, so I'm pretty biased when I see progressive metal being a tag for certain releases. So that was another reason why I decided to check it out. And very good stuff. Actually, feel like the drums are also, they could be programmed, but it's hard to tell. I don't know, something about it, I don't know if it's the production that made it like as punchy as they are, but I will say that, yeah, they do sound good. I'm very impressed that they sound as good as they do if they're programmed drums, because they sound programmed, but they don't sound bad at all. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, no, it's a very interesting album, but the production is pretty decent for the style, and yeah, very, very good stuff. All right, this one could be a little iffy if it should be mentioned, since it's more metal focused, but there is a little bit of metal in there, so I will give it a pass. This is for the band called Nothing, who I came across because they did a split last year with Grinders Full of Hell. This is for their album The Great Dismal, which came out in 2020. So this album focuses much more on the spectrum of like alternative rock, metal, and also shoegaze, dream pop, that kind of thing. So very much the Deftones-y kind of thing, not as heavy as Deftones, I guess, which is why it could be a little iffy about talking about this album. But I do think that there's enough metalness in this release that's worth talking about, and also because I really like this album. It's very catchy, just brilliant stuff throughout. I was pulled in through the entire thing, and just, again, amazing atmospheres for the genre, and yeah, there's not much else I can say other than just very good things about it, because it really pulled me in. So yeah, that's basically that, and yeah, I guess that's my list. So that's it for the new discoveries. That's everything for January. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to Metal Minded for hosting me and in starting this new series and expanding into English, I suppose. So that's basically that. Hope you guys have yourselves a good week, and tune in next month when we have more releases for you. Cheerio.